My little screen is telling me that it's taken a little bit longer, but we are live now. It's time for another live video. I am so happy that you're here. Today we're going to talk about what to do if you have so much marketing advice coming at you and you have no idea how to tell if it's good advice or bad advice. What do you do? How do you determine what marketing advice you should follow? If you'll give me just a few minutes, I'm going to tell you one simple way that you can know if the marketing advice that you've heard or been given is right for you. And if you are trying to launch your first or next high ticket offer and you want to get it into the hands of the people who need it most sooner rather than later so that you can help them change their life or their business and put money in your pockets, just let me know by dropping a comment below, because I have a checklist that will help you do all the things you need to do and none of the things that you don't to get that high ticket offer out into the world. If you don't know me, I'm Lori Reeves, founder and CEO of Brand Strength, and I help people get their high ticket offer into the hands of the people who need it the most. For the past 10 years, I have been helping entrepreneurs get their message and their program or product or service into the hands of more people in a bigger or better way. And I love helping people who have a heart for service get the service that they know can change lives into the hands of the people who need it most. So again, today we're going to talk about how you know if advice that you've been given about your marketing is good advice or bad advice. So let me start with a little disclaimer here. I actually think there's no such thing as bad marketing advice. What? You're probably like, hello, yes, there is. Okay. It may not be that it's bad. It just may not be right for you. Okay. I honestly don't think that there's anybody out there hoping and praying that somebody's going to follow their advice and everything you're doing is going to come crash into the ground and your business is going to go kaput. I really don't think that that's happening. Now, are there people out there who are giving marketing advice and maybe they don't have the qualifications or the experience to give the advice? Yes, I think that that is possible. But is there also a person who could follow that advice and find success? Yes. So what we really need to talk about is not if advice is good or bad. It's just if it's right or wrong for you. Now, what could make something right or wrong for you? The advice could be meant for a specific industry and that's not your industry. Or it could be meant for a specific type of thing that you're selling, like a product-based business where you have a service-based business, or vice versa. And so the advice that's given isn't really the advice that you should be taking for the approach that you have in your business. It also depends on what you have already built in your business and what you have going on and the stage that you're at in your business. So here's what I want to give you where you can see if the advice that you've gotten is advice that you should follow or not advice that you should follow. It's really a gut check. If somebody says, this is what you should do, and you're like, oh, do you know how many things I would have to put in place to be able to do that? Or it's going to take me this much time in order to get to the place where I can do that. Okay, I have to create this and make sure that's going right, and this is already set up and all this. Like, if that's happening in your mind, that is not the right advice for you. But if somebody gives you marketing advice and you're like, oh, that's simple, I think I could do that. That's your gut saying, yeah, take this advice, right? So as long as you are looking at people who you see have what am I trying to say? A track record for success. They know what they're talking about. You hear helpful stuff from them all the time. They are giving good advice, right? They have what you need if it feels right for you. Now, not every person who gives good advice is going to give all the advice that's perfect for you. You have to pick and choose. So I want you to just think about if your stomach ties up in a knot because it would take you away from something that you know is a revenue generating activity way too long to put in place, then maybe that's not the advice for you. If it makes your stomach clench because you're like, oh my gosh, I could do this easily and it would put me in front of a bunch of people, that's something that you should do. When you're first building your business, you should optimize for having conversations. That's what you should be doing more than anything, is optimizing everything that you do to have more conversations with more people. because the more you talk to people, the more you're going to hear the way they describe their problem, the more you're going to be able to adjust what you say and show up as a person who is somebody who's there to help them. And it just gives you this great fodder for everything that you're going to do moving forward, right? When we're first getting started, a lot of it is just trial and error. You have to just go, well, I can try this and see what happens. Again, as long as it's not going to derail you from having conversations that could be revenue generating, then if that's advice that is going to help you do that more, or give you more ideas for how you can do that more, that's the advice you should follow right now. So I hope this was helpful for you. I know in the past, when I was building my business, I took advice from people who were way up there, who had a lot of credibility, who were telling me to do things, and not necessarily me, right? But when I hear advice, I'm like, oh, they're talking to me, telling me to do things that were way ahead of where I am in my business, or where I was at that point in my business. And anytime I would take it, it would take me further and further away from those conversations that I needed to be having to really build the foundation of my business. So again, if you are trying to get your first or next high ticket offer launched completely out there in the world and running smoothly, and you're having trouble doing that, and you want a checklist to help you do all the things that you need to do, none of those things that are extraneous or going to take you off track, let me know by dropping a comment below, because I have a checklist that you can follow where you can get your high ticket offer out into the world. Again, hope this was helpful. I will see you again tomorrow when I go live again. Have a great evening.